Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prime Minister, dear Eddie, for hosting this forum here in Tirana. Ladies and gentlemen, actually 1 year ago, I came to Albania and to the entire region with a pledge. The pledge that the people and companies of the Western Balkans would start to experience the European Union in their daily lives. That you would feel the benefits of moving forward together. And 1 year on, this is exactly what's happening. Let me just give you one example. I remember very well, dear Eddie, when you first told me that you wanted Albania to join the single euro payments era, in short, SEPA. My services told you it would take a lot of work from you, a lot of determination to pass reforms, and a lot of time. But in less than 2 years, you've made it happen. And since last week, companies here in Albania can send money to the European Union and from the European Union at greatly reduced cost. And my ambassador told me that he tested the system. On the 6th of October, he wanted to send money from Brussels to Tirana. It took this money 3 to 4 days to arrive in Tirana, and it cost him 50 euros. On the 8th of October, the day when you joined SEPA, he did the same. He sent money from Brussels to Tirana. It came within minutes, and it cost nothing. And the same is happening in Montenegro and North Macedonia. Transaction fees in the Western Balkans used to be up to 6 times higher than in our union. Now joining SEPA will save your companies roughly 500 million euros per year. This is real money on your balance sheet. And this is exactly what it means to experience the Union on the European continent in your daily lives. It is progress, not just on paper, but in practice. And thanks to the hard work of leaders like you, Eddie, and your Albanians' people perseverance, this change is happening here and now. And ladies and gentlemen, this example is a proof of a simple fact. The Western Balkans are now firmly on their way to become a part of the European Union, and we know what this means in economic terms, because we've seen it happen before. All countries that have joined our union have experienced incredible economic growth. Just think about the last waves of accessions to our union. Poland's economy has tripled in size less than 3 decades. In Croatia, unemployment has dropped from 17% to 4% in just over a decade. And the same will happen across the Western Balkans. And I'm not talking about a distant future. Your economies are already set to grow rapidly in the coming years. And we established the Western Balkan Growth Plan exactly for that. The European Union opens sectors of its economy for your business. Together we work on reforms for level playing field, and alongside reforms comes investment. The Western Balkan Growth Plan aims at doubling regional GDP in the next decade. So, my message to investors today is straightforward. Don't let this opportunity pass by. The time to invest in the Western Balkans is now. And it is good to see so many of you here ready to grab the business opportunities created by closer integration. And in a moment, we will be signing 10 important business deals. Tomorrow you will discuss 24 other potential investments, and together they could bring more than 4 billion euros in new investments in the region. So this will be a massive boost for the entire region. Local companies will scale up due to European investment, and companies from our union will expand their operations in the region, creating local jobs and new opportunities across many value chains. And yet, what makes this forum so special is not only the size of the investment we're announcing. With these projects, we are bringing the Western Balkans inside our union's industrial policy. We're opening some of our core economic initiatives to you, and I want to speak about artificial intelligence. I also want to speak about integrating your industries into the single market. So today we're sending a clear signal to the business sector. If you choose the Western Balkan, you choose Europe. That must be our motto. And I want to give you 3 examples. The first one is on artificial intelligence, the second on clean energy, and the third on supply chains. And let me start with AI. And let me tell you a story that started well before we could all access artificial intelligence on our smartphones. 10 years ago, Europe was trailing behind the rest of the world in the race for computational power. We had only one supercomputer in the global top 10, but then a whole continent mobilized. We made supercomputers a top priority of my first mandate. And today we have 4 supercomputers in the global top 10. And why is this so important? Because we are using these supercomputers to develop European AI solutions. We're setting up a network of AI factories across Europe, and these are places where our businesses and startups can develop, train, and deploy their next-generation AI models. And today, I can announce that we will open our AI factories to the Western Balkans. We will start by setting up 2 factory antennas in North Macedonia and Serbia, and we are rolling out a high-speed digital backbone across the whole region. This will allow companies in all 6 Western Balkan countries to connect with these factories. This means that your companies will be able to access Europe's AI infrastructure right here in the region. In other words, the Union's computational power will be at your service. And as I want the future of artificial intelligence to be made in Europe, I want the Western Balkans at the core of it. My second example has to do with clean energy. The development of high-class clean technologies is not only vital for our planet, it's also vital for our competitiveness. Every business leader, every family in Europe remembers the energy crisis triggered when Russia invaded Ukraine and cut us off the gas. You all remember the shock of receiving completely unaffordable electricity bills, skyrocketing prices. Together we have overcome the worst days of these crises, including through European support to the Western Balkans, but the bills are still too high. And we know what drives prices up. It is our dependency on imported fossil fuels. But we also know what brings prices down. We must produce more clean energy right here at home. And renewable energy are homegrown energy, so they give us independence. They are cheap energy, so they bring the prices down. And they also create good jobs right here in Europe. But on top of producing clean energy, we must also get better at storing and sharing it. Clean and cheap energy must be stored when it's abundant, and it must be able to flow freely where it is needed the most. And this is where the Western Balkans' place in Europe becomes crucial. You are strategically located in our continent. Your countries can become hubs to produce, store, and share clean energy with the rest of Europe. Today, you are signing several investments that will do just that, from clean energy production in all 6 Western Balkan countries to energy storage in Montenegro. They will bring down costs of electricity. They will also contribute to our collective energy independence. So let me be very clear. You are building a new energy backbone not only for the Western Balkans, but you're building this energy backbone for all of Europe. And we're really grateful for this innovative step forward that you are doing on behalf of the European Union. Ladies and gentlemen, my third and final point has to do with industrial value chains. Recent years have shown that no industry should rely on one single supplier for critical input. We all need to avoid bottlenecks. So it is vital to build more resilient supply chains. And whenever possible, this work should start right here in Europe. And many of the projects you are discussing here at this forum can fill critical gaps in Europe's industrial supply chains. For example, battery production for the automotive industry, active ingredients for the pharmaceutical industry, textile recycling for the fashion industry, and the list goes on and on and on. These investments create jobs and added value here in the region, but they also make the rest of Europe more resilient and more competitive. And it is our mutual interest to integrate those strategic local industries in the European single market. So, how can we make this happen? Under our Western Balkans growth plan, we are building a single market highway. The goal is to bring local industries into continental supply chains. We will do this with regulatory integration and with industrial alliances between companies in the region and in our union. We will start with priority sectors where you should feel the benefits of membership in our union even before you join. All across the board, my point is the same. Investing in the Western Balkans means investing in a future continental market of 500 million people. That's the message we have to send. And the message is that your local projects have a European dimension and a European customer base. So the business case is compelling. The return on investment is promising for you, for the Western Balkans, and for all of Europe. So, ladies and gentlemen, at every step that the Western Balkans takes towards our union, new opportunities will emerge. And you, the CEOs and investors in this room, have a central role to play. Your perspective is vital. So please, during this conference, tell us what you need from us to unlock new projects. Tell us where you see the greatest potential for growth. Tell us where your priorities meet ours so that we can move forward together. Because the trajectory of this region is clear. The future of the Western Balkans is within our Union, and it is up to all of us to make it happen. So thank you very much for being here today, and long live Europe. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Long live Europe, indeed. Thank you so much to the President of the European Commission. And you've rightly said the time to invest is now. And that is exactly what we will do by announcing, as you have previously mentioned, some investors here on this very stage. But before we do so, let's invite back the Albanian Prime Minister, Edi Rama. Please, Prime Minister, join us here on stage. Because right now, indeed, we will hear from businesses and investors who do see this region as pivotal moving forward. And we're very glad and delighted that we will be announcing them here on this very stage together with Madam President and, of course, with the Prime Minister, so they get their proper recognition. Great to have you back here on stage, Prime Minister. And the first company that we will honor and recognize here on this very stage is called 4IG. It is a bold and forward-looking investment in regional connectivity. So for that, please join me in welcoming from the European Commission, Ms. Valentina Superti, the board member of Jean, Mr. Ronan Byrne, and a member of the 4IG Group Board, Mr. Laszlo Blanesi. Please give them a hand. And to provide a little bit of background, the 4IG is a leading Hungarian telecommunications group which plans to invest 200 million euros to build a high-quality digital backbone for the Balkans to be developed in line with the EU cybersecurity standard. And this investment will make internet connections in this region faster, more reliable, and more affordable. So 4IG is the first company, is the first investment here being announced. And this is the photo and recognition that they're getting. Congratulations to 4IG, ladies and gentlemen. And next up, the next signature will mark a very important step toward building trusted and sustainable AI infrastructure in the Western Balkans. We're speaking about 3CIS. And for that, please welcome to the stage from the Kosovo Investment and Enterprise Support Agency, Mr. Zef Dedai, and the CEO of 3CIS, Ms. Burbuch Hashimi. And just to give you a little bit of background, 3CIS is a global digital engineering company from Kosovo which intends to invest 30 million